Hi there. This is Angus, the Mad Cow. Oh God. I'm going to talk about a few things today that are just really pissing me off. Oh God. And hopefully by the end of the show, you guys are going to be pissed off too. And for all you really just stupid people out there that just don't understand and don't like what I have to say, piss off. Oh, it's going to be a great show. And you're going to enjoy every single minute of it. Why? Because I say so. You're listening to Angus, the Mad Cow, and this is my ranting hour. Let's go. Okay, first off, tonight, all you lazy bums out there that just want to sit around and draw a paycheck and rely on other people that actually care about what they do to clean up your mess, this one's for you. Hi, this is Angus. You should have already figured that out from the intro. Okay. I'm pretty sure everybody that has worked at least a little bit in their life has run across this and can relate. We're going to talk about a little something called work ethic, which basically means do your job. Okay? I'm sick and tired of having to clean up after other people's messes. You know, this might be, oh, disgruntled worker, fear me. Alright, no, this is one of those things that if you're going to go into a job, do your job. If you don't like where you're working, hit the door. There's plenty of stuff out there that you can do that you would enjoy. You know, people are like, well, I can't afford to quit. I don't know where to go. Well, that's because you're too lazy or stupid to figure out that, hey, if I don't like where I'm at, I need to be someplace else. And they go in and they muddle around and they want to draw a paycheck, but they don't want to do anything for it. That really pisses me off. You know, there's people at my current workplace that have been there for years. How? I do not even know. It might be one of those things that my old manager, who's no longer there, which new manager, she's alright. But anyway, my old manager, she was pretty much a taskmaster. And whenever she was there, everybody was working. But if she went on vacation, oh my God, the store would be a complete and utter wreck. Because it was like, when the cat's away, the mouse will play. Look, people, we don't need to be thinking like that. Have a little bit of respect for yourself. And, come on, I mean, just, this is one of those topics that, really, is getting me fired up. Because I have to deal with this on a daily basis. I'm a stock boy, okay? So what? I do other stuff too, but, my main occupation is I work in a stock room. And I'll have these people that'll call me for something that they could have went and done themselves in less time than it took them to stop what they were doing, walk over to a phone, and call me. So by the time they call me, I walk and answer the phone, they describe what they want me to do for them, and I walk out there and do it. They could have done that and got back to whatever they were doing before. And it wasn't anything like major tasking, no lifting of heavy tables or anything like that, just something minor that any normal person would have done if they would have just stopped and thought about it for a second. For the love of people, if you don't like where you're at, there's a door called exit. Go find something else that you'll like to do. Me personally, I don't particularly care to work in retail. It's not a bad job. It's an easy job. Just some people are just really lazy and can't even do an easy job. They just want free money. Guess what? We're in America. Yeah, some people do get free money. That's another rant altogether. I'll probably do that in the next segment. For the love of God, people, if you're just going to not work, just, do us all a favor and just disappear. Please. I'm going to have to take a little bit of a break, gather my thoughts for a little bit. But, I mean, simple thing. Work or get out. That's it. It wouldn't pay for me to be a manager anywhere because I'd be firing people left and right because, I won't put up with that kind of crap. Alright. This is Angus. Be back with you guys in a minute. Welcome back to My Ranting Hour. Did you miss me? Of course you did. You just don't want to admit it. Alright. Well, if you guys haven't already figured it out yet, my recorded live shows are going to run pretty much like my live shows. They're recorded live. That's just the way I do things. I'm not into all that editing and cleaning it up, and I'll admit it, I'm a little lazy on that point, alright? And yes, I am from the South, and I do say I. Alright? Is that better? Use a little bit more proper English? I'd like to think that my English is actually pretty good. I mean, I usually get my point across to most people, and I've got a few of those that pop in there from time to time. I mean, I was raised in the South. I've lived here pretty much all my life. I pick up the dialect. I mean, I also live in a somewhat urbanized area now, so I've picked up a few tidbits of Ebonics. Oh, God. And they actually wanted to make that an official language. Okay, Ebonics is not a language. Ebonics is a regional dialect. Like you've got people in the South that have a certain dialect. And you got people out in California that have a certain dialect. Just Ebonics seems to be a little bit more widespread. Primarily in urban America type situations. But, Ebonics, to me, is one of the harder dialects to understand, because it's not just taking normal words and throwing out a few syllables or adding a few, like, I'm going to go wash my clothes. That's something that some Southern people say, or alright. And then, of course, up in, I think it's Brooklyn, they don't have a lot of R's up there. I'm going to go wash my car. Everybody's got their own certain way of speaking. It just happens to be where they grew up. But Ebonics is almost like a code. And if you don't have any following of Ebonics, you're just sitting there, it's like another language. I mean, it's definitely foreign to me. I don't get it. I definitely don't get it. Don't even get me started on the isles. Izzle this and fsnizzle, and I don't even know what half this stuff means. Because it's not even real words. It's just made up stuff. Kind of like the word I was talking before, like slang. I talked about slang in one of my earlier rants. And it's crazy on how slang is just taking over the language, where if you don't live in a certain area for a long period of time, you might as well just stay home, because you're not going to understand anything that anyone is saying at any time. You're just going to have to, smile and nod and hope you can get your, hope they get your order right. Okay? Yeah, I mean, I know America does not have an official language, which you would think, being that it was founded by English-speaking people, and the majority of the population in America is English-speaking, that English would be the predominant language, but in certain areas it's not. You know, you got little Chinatown, they speak Chinese. Here in the city I live in, we have a very large Hispanic population. So there are a lot of places around here that you go into, they don't speak a lot of English. They speak Spanish. And, you know, that most of their customers are Spanish. So it works out for them. You know, my thought is like, look, you know, I like to go into places and be able to understand, you know, at least, you know, they should have at least a small, at least broken English. Come on. You know, at least be able to understand, to communicate well enough to get my order right. All right, you know, you know, how hard is it to mess up an order of supersized fries? I mean, this is McDonald's. That's, you know, if I was going into some place like Habaneros or something like that, I would understand that it's a Mexican restaurant. There's going to be Mexican, Hispanic people that work there that might not know a lot of English, but I would like for my server to know at least a little bit of English. Ugh. Oh, where was I going with this? I have no idea. This is one of those free roaming segments. You know, you don't know what you're going to get with me on these things. But you know what? If you don't like it, go listen to somebody else. I don't care. I mean, you're either going to stick with me, and I'll make sense from time to time. Hey, look at it this way. If I'm sitting here messing up and have no clue what I'm saying, at least you get to laugh at me. You know, it's not going to hurt my feelings because I'm not hearing you laugh. You know, I'm sitting here in my comfy computer chair recording this, you know, probably days before you even hear of this thing. Now, on my live shows, that's going to be a little bit different. Of course, I'm still not going to hear you laugh. Because, you know, I'm not going to have a phone where you can call in and say, hey, you know, you need to get back on topic. Anyway, I don't know. But let me go ahead and take another break here. Maybe throw some music on. Commercial. I don't know. I might just give you dead air. Like that, you know. Sorry, I'm just messing around with you guys. Alright. This is Angus, the Mad Cow. I'm going to take another short music break here and have a message from some sponsor if I feel like it. That break felt pretty good. Okay, I don't feel that I finished completely on the language topic. There was something else I was going to get into, but I just had to collect myself. This is another thing that is, it would be okay if it went both ways, but it's heavy-sided on one thing. And I know this is a factual thing, and it's actually happening in several school systems. I have a friend who's a teacher, and it happens at her school, where someone of another language group, doesn't matter what, they are a non-English speaking student, they do not have to pass English class to pass their grade. They get an automatic C, they can sit in class and just do nothing. But an English-speaking student in an English-speaking school has to take a secondary language of some sort. And if they do not pass that subject, they cannot graduate. That is a load of crap. Okay? Big poo-poo pile. Now, if you're going to make our native English-speaking students that were born and raised here have to take a secondary language in order to graduate, people that have come from another country or were born and raised in America but have a non-English speaking family, they should be required on an equal basis to learn English in order to graduate. Wouldn't you think that would be fair? I think that would be fair. Or, English-speaking people get an automatic C in a secondary language and moved along like the others. That's just my little standpoint on that. Ugh. I hate double standards. You can do this, but they're going to be able to do this. And no, I don't play that game. We do not play that game. Okay, but I think that pretty much covers the language issue for now. Something else I was wanting to bring up. Oh, God, what was I thinking? Okay, busted here a little bit. I actually had to do my first edit on a recorded live scenario. Had a little bit of an incident where basically I was cursing like a sailor. Not going to go into too much detail. I come from a naval family. Sorry. But whatever came out during that last little interlope where I was speaking of, I don't even remember what I was talking about right before this. I'll have to go back and figure this out. We're just going to roll with this. Yeah. Yes, I did edit this segment. I'm sorry, but it's better this way. Trust me. And for everybody that actually knows me in real life, I do tend to have a potty mouth at times. But for these type of segments, I don't feel it's necessary to get so vulgar. I would like to, but I do have some younger listeners that I would actually like to be able to hear my viewpoints on topics without their parents cringing at every other foul word that would come out of my mouth under a normal circumstance. This is not an R-rated show, and I'd like to keep it that way. I mean, I like some of the comics that do that sort of thing. I am into that, but for most general purposes, it's not really necessary to get your point across by saying the F word a dozen times in a minute. It's not really necessary. Sometimes can be funny, but not necessary. Anyway, seeing how I've just totally lost my train of thought and did something I said I would never do. Usually what I would do in a recorded live scenario is I would totally delete the entire track and start over. Well, some people are like, well, that's editing. Well, it's a different type of editing, yes, but it's a lot more involved because I have to start over from scratch and kind of piece together what I did before. Maybe not in the exact same order, maybe not the same wording, tone will be different. It's never the same twice when you redo something. So we're just going to go ahead, take another little break, gather my thoughts again, and I think I'm gonna have a really good. Oh, this one's, yeah. I've got a jewel for you coming up after the break. See you guys in a bit. Enjoy. Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. Oh, who rants about topics every day? Angus the Mad Cow. Okay, that gives you a little bit of tidbit why I don't sing, and I actually prefer to talk, because I can't carry a tune. Well, maybe if I try, I can carry a good bass line, but that's about it. Hairball. Tasty. Mucus. Alright, back on topic. Earlier in the show, I said I would get back to this in my next segment, but obviously I've done a few segments since then. So, we're going to get back to it. This is going to be a little bit of, I'm probably going to get kind of intense in this, and I'm going to try to watch my language. I don't want to have to go back and edit things again, because that's just a pain. Alright, this goes back to being bum-ba-da-bum-ba-da-bum-ba-da-bum, you're lazy bum. Bums. People that want to sit around and draw a welfare check. Okay, I know that we're in America, and most people think we're capitalist pigs. But we do have a little bit of socialistic tendencies to us. One of the programs that I'm referring to is welfare. Now, I can see what happens to some people. I live in the South, and that's a little bit of a problem here, where, you've got single mothers with 5 kids and a deadbeat dad that needs a little bit of help. Well, certain scenarios, I'm pretty sure that there are actually people out there that need it. But the program is actually abused a lot. And everybody knows this, and if you don't, you're stupid. It's being abused, and it needs to be fixed. I don't like to go to the grocery store. I'm working my jobs, busting my tail, and I'm in a 2-family income, and sometimes we have a hard time making ends meet. And then you've got this baby factory with a different father for every child, going to the grocery store, buying $300 worth of groceries with food stamps, and she don't work. Keep your legs closed, woman. All right? If they pop out more kids to get more welfare, and some of these families are not even spending the money that they're getting from welfare on their kids. They're going out and drinking or buying their smokes because they got to have their fix. Look, your kids come first. If you don't want to take care of your kids and have that responsibility, don't freaking have them. All right? If you don't want to take care of your child and have the responsibility of raising them, it's not my job, it's not the media's job, it's not the TV's job, it's not even the church's job to raise your kid. All right? It's your job. If you don't want it, don't freaking have them. Okay? And people are like, well, society's to blame for our kids, going to school with guns and it's video games and it's violent TV. No, it's your fault. It is your fault that your kid, who's 7 years old, is taking a knife to school, gutting some other punk because you didn't beat the snot out of them and teach them that that wasn't the right thing to do. Hello, people. Wake up and smell the coffee. Actually, coffee sounds good right about now. Oh, shnikes. And another thing is, I don't see how people can actually get away with manipulating unemployment. I thought if somebody got fired from a job for being a lazy smuck that didn't want to do anything, or no call, no shows, or whatever, they couldn't get unemployment. Obviously, some people can, because I actually got laid off from a job and waited a month, job hunting, had a little bit in savings, so I didn't really need a job right after I got laid off. And then I went and drawed unemployment. I got it for a couple weeks, and then I got another job. Well, they made me pay back the unemployment I drew. But there were other people down there that looked like they hadn't had a bath in a month, drawing unemployment, and had the little plastic bag with their liquor in it while they're going into the unemployment office. How does stuff like this happen? I don't even know. And it's just crazy that some bums can sit there and leech off the system, but me, who is actually trying to find a job, doing it legitimately, going out, putting out applications, going to the employment office, I was willing to take just about anything. It's like, look, I need a paycheck, find me a job. And I'm not real picky when it gets to that point. I've done roofing, I'll dig a ditch, whatever. And then there's these other people that's like, I don't want to do anything. I don't even want to, pick up trash off of the side of the road. I want to sit at home and get drunk and let the government pay for my disability. And disability is another thing that really, really pisses me off, because there's people that are actually legitimately disabled that cannot get through the system in a certain time frame, takes them years to get through, because you have all of these other lazy people that are trying to manipulate the system so they don't have to work when they don't actually have a legitimate reason to be disabled. I heard about one case. I don't. It's not even in our country, so I don't know how their rules work. Dude gets a disability check because he is addicted to heavy metal music. Yeah, the government cuts this guy a check because he can't stop himself from listening to heavy metal music at work or going to 300 concerts in a year. Yeah, this dude went over to 300 concerts in 1 year. I can't even afford to go to like 2 or 3 in a year. But this guy gets a check so he can feed his disability. Oh, God. These kind of people just really, really piss me off. More people that just need to be taken out. We need that big net that you clean all the little stuff out of your pool in, during the wintertime that all the leaves fall in. We need one of those huge nets designed to target these people and just go scoop and dumping them in the garbage. Dump them, dump them, dump them. Oh, yeah, I probably got way too involved in this one. I'm gonna have to go back through and actually make sure I didn't cuss. Oh, for the love of Pete. Alright. I told you guys I was going to have a little bit of a jewel for you. I don't know what kind of jewel you consider this one to be. But I'm going to go take me a little bit of a smoke break here. Let you guys listen to some... I'm going to try to find something hardcore. Yeah, we need some teen angst here. Alright, we're pissed off and we're not going to take it anymore. Rah! This is Angus. I'll be back with you guys in a second. Schnikes. Okay, in this segment, I'm going to have to do a little bit of clarification and more elaborate on this point. In my last segment, I was talking about, kids going to school and taking guns and stuff like that, and I made a comment about beating your child. Alright, I don't want that to be taken the wrong way here. I don't think that... Okay, anybody that abuses a child needs to be killed. Period. If you're smacking your kid around because of whatever reason, I don't care what it is, your inadequacies or you just don't know how to handle your kid and they're getting out of control. Okay, smacking your kid in the face with your fist and beating them down and breaking bones and crap like that. Alright, immediately dead. No trial, no nothing. String them up in the yard and show everybody this is what happens to somebody that abuses a kid. Okay? I want to make that perfectly clear. Now, I am for corporal punishment. Alright? When I was growing up, if I got out of line, my butt got tore up. Either with a hand or a belt or a switch. Yeah, I hated going over to... When you went to Mama's house, you behaved yourself. Because she was in the old school religion that if you got out of line, you had to go out into the backyard, pick your own switch, and you're sitting there going, okay, I don't want to get the one that's going to break me, but I don't want to get one that she's not going to like, and then she's going to come out here and pick one herself. You never wanted her to go out in that backyard and pick her own switch, because you knew you were going to get it then. Oh... I think it was just the mental thing of just putting them out there for just a small amount of time just that mental thought of having to sit out there and pick your own switch. That was traumatizing enough. And it made it where you didn't want to do that kind of thing. Timeouts, for some random kid, it might work. But on the whole, yeah, I'm going to give you a timeout. I see people do that all the time. Kids ripping and roaring up and down the store, knocking stuff over, running into people, parent nowhere to be found. And I'm sitting there going, I'm wanting to pull a belt off the rack over here and just tan this kid's hide so he'll behave. That's just the way I was. I mean, that's the way I was raised. If you got out of line, and I actually didn't get that many spankings when I was growing up, because I didn't want any spankings. Because I got a couple and realized, hey, this hurts. If I do something bad, this is not going to feel good. So guess what? I didn't do it again.
Ah! But these people are like, well, it destroys their creativity. I grew up just fine. Thank you very much. I'm active in my community. I'm not a criminal. Um, I keep a steady job. Well, not all the time. I do. I get bored with jobs. Okay, I have to jump around a little bit. But when I'm at a job, I do my job and do it well. Thank you very much. But some of these kids that are going to school, they're not even teenagers, and like they're taking weapons. Where are the kids? Where are these kids getting weapons? Are they taking them from their parents' closet? They buying them from an older kid at school? I mean, where are the parents in this situation? Parent your child. You got to keep tabs on them. When I went out, I had a curfew. My parents needed to know where I was going, who I was going with, phone numbers they could contact me at, emergency numbers for everybody, especially if they had a cell phone. Now, I didn't have a cell phone growing up when I was a child because my parents couldn't afford it. I didn't get a beeper until I was like 16. I've got a cell phone now, but I only use it for emergency situations. I rarely even touch that thing. But yeah, I don't, you don't want to just reach back and smack your child for no reason whatsoever. But if they're getting out of line and they're getting out of hand and they're not listening to you, yeah, grab the belt, get you a good swat across the buttocks there. It's not going to do any permanent damage, okay? There's a lot of cushioning back there. You'd be lucky to even bruise it. I mean, if you bruise a kid's bottom, you're going to be hitting them way too hard. Unless they just happen to be like anemic and bruise easily. But, I mean, like snatching a kid up and shaking them, stuff like that. No, I'm not for that. Like I said before, somebody that needs to do that, I just want to, take their head off. But yeah, kids need to have a little bit of a firm hand from time to time. Spare the rod, spoil the child. These kids are just getting way out of hand. Oh, so kids that are listening to this, the majority of the time, most parents, that are actually going to be listening to me because they actually have to care what I say, those type of people are usually going to be right about everything they're talking about because they've already been through it. All right, I've been through it. Okay, it took me a long time to realize this, and I finally got to that point. My dad and my mom, they were right about like 95% of the things they tried to teach me. I feel as an adult now, okay, I was stupid. Why didn't I listen to them sooner? Because I was a kid. And kids nowadays, all through history, the next generation, they think they know it all. Guess what, kids? You haven't been through it yet. These people are like, especially your parents, you're 16. They're in their 40s or 50s on average. They've been around. They've seen stuff happen. They know what they're talking about. Please listen to them, okay? Oh. And that's what's good about having older siblings, because they've been through stuff too, and siblings are great because they're more that, they're closer age. That's your brother or that's your sister. They're not a parent. So, anybody that's out there that's like an older sibling, or even if you're a younger sibling, kind of work together there, because the older person has been through a little bit of stuff, more stuff than you have, and being that they are closer to your generation, they can relate a little bit better than maybe your parent can, because I know I can't relate to some of the stuff that's going on nowadays. And my parents maybe not fully relate to some of the stuff I was going through. But that's only that's semantics there. There's only minor differences. On the whole, everything's the same. But, for the most part, parents are right. Except for the ones that just want to do the whole timeout thing. Now, I've got another scenario with another individual where this person, the corporal punishment didn't work for her. She would sit there and think and go, okay, fun, get my butt beat. Fun, get my butt beat. And she would opt for the fun and take the consequences. About the only thing that worked for her is, wait until your father gets home. God, I hated hearing that line because I knew I had messed up royally whenever. Because my mom was one of these intense women where she's nice, sweet, until you piss her off. And then if you're lucky, you only get smacked to the ground. Yeah, I learned real quick. Don't backtalk to my mom. A lot of other people learned that too the hard way. But yeah, when she got to the point where she knew she was maybe going to hurt me if she actually gave me a spanking, she would just send me to my room and say, wait until your father gets home. Yeah, those were always the worst. The waiting. Just the waiting. You knew something was going to happen when you got there, and you realized you messed up, and there's nothing you can do about it until the next time. And then you made sure the next time that you didn't do something stupid. Or at least tried to. Alright, so I think I've gone on long enough with this. I hope I got my point across. I think I jumped a little bit on this one. Excuse me on that. But yeah, kids, listen to your parents. They know what they're talking about on the most part. They might not know, a few specific details here and there, but they've been around a lot longer than you. And parents, if your kids are unruly and getting out of hand, taking a belt to their backside is not that bad of an idea, okay? Just you got to do some tough love from time to time. Alright, this is Angus. I'll be back with you guys in a second. Ring, ring, hello. Cell phones. Oh my God, cell phones are of the devil. Okay, I have a cell phone, yes, but I use it only in extreme circumstances. What gets me is I'll see people driving down the road. As soon as they wake up, they've got a cell phone stuck to their head. Walking out the door, fixing their breakfast, driving to work, getting to work, clock in, cell phone the entire time on their ear unless they're hanging up and dialing somebody else. Okay, for the majority of the people in the world, you're not that important that you have to have a cell phone permanently stuck to your ear all day long. Okay? Cell phones, to me, for the most part, police, and they've also got their radios, doctors, lawyers, emergency care personnel, maybe route people that are driving around in a vehicle doing their job, for the most part, are the ones that primarily need to be using a cell phone the majority of the day. The nondescript, just person, day-to-day life, I don't see how they can spend 80% of their day on the phone. What all are you people talking about? Because the majority of the conversations I catch bits and pieces of all these people walking through the mall or wherever having to be at with the cell phone stuck to their ear, it's just gibberish. They're not even checking on their kid or checking with their significant other about maybe, okay, I need to pick up a few more, while you're out, go ahead and pick up a few things on your way home. Those kind of conversations I can understand. But they're sitting there just blabbering about nothing. It's like, look, can't you wait an hour till you get home to have these type of conversations that you have to have a phone stuck to your ear while you're driving down the road and causing a wreck? Okay, when I'm in the car, if my phone rings, I don't answer it. I'll wait till I'm at a stoplight, or I'll pull over to the side of the road and there's nothing going on that's important enough for me to risk my life while I'm driving down the road, taking my attention off of the road. Okay, driving is not just something you want to mess around with. That is a big vehicle with a lot of other big, heavy vehicles driving at high rates of speed, and one little screw up and somebody's going to die. That's why I'm glad they're passing all these cell phone laws, where you got to have a hands-free thing. Because a hands-free thing I can understand, because that's like if you're talking to somebody and, like a passenger. You're not, you've got your hands on the wheel and stuff like that. It might take your attention off the road a little bit, but not nearly as much if you've got one hand on your phone and the other hand on the wheel and you flip it off. I've actually seen people text messaging in the car. How you're sitting there, you're looking at the phone, finding the little buttons to type in words while you're driving. Guess what? You're not that important that you need to be doing that right at that moment, risking somebody else's life because you're a moron. I wish people that were that moronic would just end up, taking themselves out. But 9 times out of 10, some innocent person that's actually following traffic laws gets hurt or killed in the process of somebody else being stupid. Oh, God. I mean, come on. People, please use some common sense here. If you're that important of a person that you have to have a cell phone all the time, probably you're going to actually have, like a celebrity or something like that. They're going to have somebody driving for them so they can talk on the phone. Emergency personnel, like in an ambulance, they've got their radios or they get a phone. They've got one person driving and somebody else is probably actually answering the phone, not the person driving. Now, I can see cops, on the other hand, they have their radios and they're driving at the same time, giving directions. Okay, they're chasing somebody in a high-speed scenario. They're trained for that. They go through hours of training for that before they get to the point that they can actually do that safely. But then you got some smo that don't know what he's doing, just walking around with a cell phone. I've actually seen people walking down the street with a cell phone and run into a telephone pole because they're not paying attention to where they're walking. I hope to God that person don't get into a vehicle, because if he's just running into things while he's walking, imagine what he's going to do when he's driving. Ugh. I hope I'm not on the road that day. Man, come on. Oh, criminy. And another thing with cell phones, why is it that somebody that doesn't even, somebody under the age of 16, they don't even have a driver's license. They cannot leave the house under their own power unless they have somebody driving them, unless they're like riding a bike or something. But I'm talking about little kids that have these super duper cell phones. I'm not talking about just like a little cell phone that just ring ring, answer, hang up. I'm talking about these ones that do podcasts, built-in MP3 players, video, internet, everything like that. They basically have this little bitty portable computer in a phone that costs several $100s and probably $100 plus a month phone bill. Okay, parents, you're stupid for getting a kid something like this. They don't need that. Because, I mean, what is a kid like this going to be using a cell phone for? At any given time, they should be with some adult supervision, either at like a baseball game or a roller rink with you or another guardian that you've delegated to watch your child for that given moment, or at school or a library or something with some type of supervision. So why would they need a cell phone, even just a normal cell phone? Why would they need one? Because should be an adult there with maybe a cell phone that if you needed to get in contact with this person, you could call them. The kid don't need it. That's a waste of money. That's just stupid. Kids coming up to that nowadays, they're all spoiled. I mean, when I was growing up, we had chores. Clean the house, do the dishes, clean the bathroom, vacuum. Well, I had to cut a yard, too, because I actually had a yard. A lot of kids don't have to worry about that nowadays because they like live in an apartment or if they're in a city. But, us country folks out there, we had yard work. We got a garden. We had to take care of that. I had to come home from work, do all of my chores, do my homework before I could even watch television. And I had like 6 channels growing up. We didn't have cable TV and satellite dishes out where I was. If the president was on, your night was shot. Oh God, but you kids nowadays, you're so spoiled, you don't know what hardship is. You get frustrated if you lose internet connection for 30 minutes. Oh my God, I can't get online to check my email. It's not the end of the world. You'll live. Get over it. Oh, but I mean, why would you need a child to have these? I can understand a teenager that's just started to drive, gonna be going out. They're getting close to the maturity age of being out on their own. It would be nice to be able to keep in contact with them in case something happened or they happen to have a flat tire or the car breaks down, so they can call you and not have to walk 2 miles to a payphone to call you in the middle of the night going, I'm okay, but, it's one of those types of, it's a safety thing. I can understand that for older teenagers to have a cell phone. But little kids, no, I don't get it. Oh, you're spoiling them. Stop spoiling your children and actually raise them to, my thing is, kids nowadays, they have this thing where you have like the little league baseball, and they're like, they don't even keep score. That's okay for when they're little, but when they get older, they have to learn disappointment. They're not going to get everything they want in life. And the sooner they learn that and be able to cope with that, the better off they're going to be. Because if you keep babying them and protecting them and shielding them, when they get out in the real world and they don't have you to protect them at all given times, something nasty is going to happen to them and they're not going to know how to cope with it. They're just going to freak out. So you need to prepare your kids for real life, because real life ain't all roses. There's some big stinky piles out there they're going to have to step over, and they're going to step in a few of them. And they need to know how to scrape that stuff off their shoe and just keep on trucking. Alright, that's enough for this rant. I'm going to take me another little break. I'll be back with you in a second. See ya. In a minute. I think. I don't know. Yeah, we're going to, well, yeah. I don't know. Blah. Yada, yada, yada. Doobie, doobie, doo.
Alright, welcome back to My Ranting Hour. This is Angus. Hi. Alright, I'm going to try to stem away from the parents, you need to wake up and parent your child rants. I think I've gone on long enough with that topic. I could talk about that for hours. But since this is My Ranting Hour, I'm going to try to keep it to that, 1 hour. Give or take a few minutes for, commercial interruptions and maybe a song here or there. But I'm going to try to keep it as close to a single hour as I can. Try to stay true to the name, My Ranting Hour. If I wanted to come up with something where I go on a little bit longer, I might just rename my show. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. Since this is my first official full broadcast hour, trying to figure out how I'm going to wrap this up, because I am getting close to time. Once I add in everything, we should have about an hour. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to rant about or talk about right now. Okay, I think I got an idea. Let's go back to kind of what I was starting the show off with, end the show with what you started the show with, or at least something similar, about work ethic. This is actually targeting more of the corporate America people. Listen up, corporate America, suit-wearing little monkeys. That's who I'm talking about. The people that have, happened to have lucked out and maybe had, super debt with student loans, or happen to have, lucked up and had a rich family and got a really, really good education to go into, business school or something like that. They've never really actually worked a hard job or even a semi-hard job. They went straight into corporate America and have no realization of how our end of the blue-collar society functions. Yeah, these are the people I'm talking about here. You suit-wearing monkeys. That's what I'm talking about. Ook, ook. You guys that sit up there in your little office, in your comfy chairs, coming up with all different kinds of game plans on how a business should run that looks superb written down on paper. We're going to cut costs and raise profits by hiring nothing but temporary workers and part-timers so we don't have to pay them benefits and blah, blah, blah. Everybody that's a blue-collar worker that has been in the job market for a while has probably run across this or has fell victim to downsizing because of these corporate schmucks. I have been one of those many times over. Yeah, I mean, okay, guys, get off your butts, come down to the place that you are running, not your corporate job. I'm talking about the other businesses that you're telling these people how they should do their jobs when they've been doing it for 10 years and you just graduated and been in the job market in your particular line of work for like a year. You have no freaking clue what you're talking about. Case in point, I'll use me as for example, like I do a lot of the times, where a company gets bought out. All of these other people that are thinking that they can run the company better than the way it was run before. Before our company was bought out, it was in the black from the point of creation. The entire time this company I'm currently working for has been around, it has never been in debt. The company has only been bought out for a little over a year now, or close to a year, I think. I'm not exactly sure. I've lost track. Our corporate people are now having to try to bring in investors to pump more money into this company because it is about to go bankrupt. Because they thought they knew how to run the company better than what it was being run before. Part of their idea was, we're going to put more expensive items in our store. They're not that much better quality, mind you. We're going to cut all of our employees to help override the cost of that and turn them all into temporary part-timers so we don't have to pay them benefits and vacation time and the like. And they lost... Well, they started out small, where they were only going to do a little bit here, a little bit here. What they were trying to do was chase off the old blood. People that had been there for 10 years plus that are making a lot more money than they would have to hire, say, a high schooler out at minimum wage. Well, what it ended up doing was chasing off all the old-timers that knew how to do the job, and now the company is going to crap. Yeah, because you got all of these high school, college kids that don't know how to really run and work in retail and freak out at the slightest thing, and they don't have the old blood in there, save for a select few, to get the job done. It's just not working. So these corporate people, you need to get down there and actually work in that environment to see how it goes before you start hashing out things on paper. Because one thing might look good on paper, when you put it into actual functioning real life, the way it's going in my place is not really going all that well. But yeah, corporate America people, you need to broaden your horizons and actually get out there and dirty your hands a little bit to know how the blue collar side works. Some people know how to do that because they work their way up from blue collar to white collar. Those guys, I'm not targeting you guys because you know where you're coming from, as long as you remembered where you're coming from. I'm talking about the ones that have no clue whatsoever. Get a clue. Help us out here. Okay, we need a little bit of help here, because you're going to get a lot better quality of work if you make your employees happy. You don't need a revolving door of employees, like, okay, this job sucks, I'm going to go find something else down the street and get $1 more an hour doing the same type of job. You're not going to keep a business running like that, guys. It's just not going to happen. Okay, I'm going to take another little break, and then I think I'm going to have to wrap this up. Be back with you guys in a second. Oh yeah, I'm getting close to that hour mark. Time for me to wrap this show up and say goodbye. This is Angus, the Mad Cow. This has been my ranting hour. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have. Well, if you consider being pissed off and upset, ranting about something, having a good time, I do. Of course, I'm insane. I'm mad. I'm just plain kooky, okay? And even if if you agreed with me, great. If you didn't agree with me, piss off. I don't care, because I'm gonna keep doing it. Yep, I'm just gonna keep on. I'm gonna have another show. Hopefully it'll be longer next time. It'll be my ranting day. Yeah, that's going to be my next project. I'm going to do a 24-hour rant session. I'm going to dope up on caffeine nicotine, and whatever little speed pills I can pop into my little throat. As long as it's legal. Oh, yeah, definitely gotta be legal. Not gonna go there. Let's see. Got 30 seconds going. Oh my god, I'm running out of time. Ah! Run away, run away, run away. Yeah, this has been great. To all my fans out there, that I probably don't have many because this is my first show, but hopefully it'll get better, and then you can listen to this later because I'll have it archived, and it'll be great. And you'll be like, why did I miss this guy at the beginning? Alright, this has been Angus the Mad Cow, and this has been My Ranting Hour. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.